So, it has happened. What we have been thinking might happen for the past week has finally happened. It has come as a shock because we kind of thought it wasn't going to happen. After a couple of rumours last week, but then it kind of stopped and it kind of went away a bit, so we thought maybe being linked with a few different contracts and stuff like that, so we thought that maybe might stop it. But today Gary Monk has officially been sacked. Well, they say parted company, but the way they've worded it is definitely as he has been sacked. Says the board of directors believe this is in the long-term interests of the club. We'd like to thank Gary for his efforts and wish him best for his future. Pep Cotet has been put as caretaker head coach, so he'll remember that one, head coach, not manager. For the remainder of the coaching and backroom staff, Sean Rush, David Flavin and Ryan Needs and James Beattie are all staying there. And Pep Cotet takes charge of this team affairs with immediate effect. So he's coming straight in and he's being the guy who's doing all the stuff. You can read the rest. It's there for you guys to read in case you haven't been able to read it online before or seen it. But as you can see, they're looking to challenge for promotion and move the club forward. They want the recruitment and scouting to be improved, and they're quite happy with the youth teams and our academy. So yeah, last week it kind of went down, and came out that Beale had been sacked, and it became a bit of a strange thing that people were wondering why, what happened, and kind of things like that. We're not 100% sure what happened, but since then he has been sacked, and this is an under-23s issue as well as a first-team issue, so we are looking for an under-23s manager and a first-team manager. I'll just bring up the odds that have updated or are updating minute by minute on both of them. They're changing every minute. As you can see, Pep Clotet and Javier Calm is the two favourites, with Nigel Atkins as a slim third favourite, and below that is people who are very unlikely. But very recently we have had a tweet come out by We Are Birmingham saying the manager job has been offered to Pep Clotet and Javier Calm has been offered the under-23s manager. So if we have a look at Javier Calm, his history, he's only had one season under our parent club, UE Cornella. If we have a look at UE Cornella, they finished 4th in the 3rd division of Spain last year, in the playoffs of the Spanish division. I think that's the playoffs. There's only 3 teams. I'm not 100% sure how it works in the 3rd tier of Spain. But hey, actually it may even be the 4th. No, 3rd division. But their team isn't brilliant. They didn't have a lot of money. They're not a great club, and he has only managed them and not done brilliantly with them. They were kind of expected to still go up, and he has left them. He has left them. That's confusing, but he is without a club, so he is there available on a free transfer. The other man is Pep Clotet. As you can see, Pep Clotet has managed 3 clubs before. Mainly been the assistant manager of Gary Monk recently, though. He was Halmstad's manager for 15 games, getting 0.57 points per match. Viking FK, where he was at his most successful, having 14 games, getting a 1.43 average points per match. And Oxford United, 36 matches, getting a 1.34 points per match. But his last kind of best things he's had is 61 games as assistant manager at Swansea under Gary Monk, 53 games under Gary Monk at Leeds, and 59 games as assistant manager under Gary Monk at Birmingham City. So as you can see, he definitely isn't really an overly achieving, experienced manager who's been out there and done it before. He's not a big name. He hasn't got a lot of money to spend, but he might be the guy to do it. And if you look at it, you've got a Spanish guy here. You have Javier Calm, who is a Spanish guy. It looks like they're trying to go the Spanish route and trying to do that kind of thing. We are not confirmed anything other than the fact that Gary Monk has left the club. UE Cornella obviously have partly confirmed that their manager has left last week. But there's not a lot that really can be said at this point, other than the rumours that we're hearing. As you can see, it's an awkward situation to be in as a Birmingham City fan. It's a huge negative as a Blues fan, since people are saying that Javier Calm has not been offered the job and Pep Clotet has been. He has moved in a lot on odds as well. And as the wording is quite interesting here. As you can see, they say Pep Clotet has been appointed caretaker head coach, not manager. Therefore, normally that means that a manager job is being offered to. If a manager job has been offered, they get the full experience. Head coaches less, and they kind of get less transfers and different things like that. And normally that comes with a director of football in other countries and different things like that. Something we don't have at the current moment. I did find a tweet before which explained something which was quite interesting that I'll try and find. Here is the tweet that came out that We Are Birmingham put out, that the offer to Pep Clotet and Javier Calm as the under-23 match manager, and also it seems like Robbo may be going as an under-23s coach as well. It was within this that kind of showed off some interesting statements and things from Almagier, who, if you don't know, you're another club's fan, well, welcome to this channel first. And this is someone who's leaked a lot of information in the past. Him and We Are Birmingham are the main two people that are believable within our realms. He put up an interesting thing here, saying, "The mention of academy is a key point. I know that there was disagreements between the academy head, Christian Speakman, and Monk, and I know that Speakman and Wren get on quite well. It would not surprise me if Speakman ends up as director of football figure ahead of the head coach. Also, Monk's agent is James Featherstone, who is also James Beattie's agent. So it's likely that James Beattie will be leaving at the same time because they've had disagreements as well. Within this, over transfers, there's been arguments between Wren and Featherstone. Therefore, Wren is clearly taking over the I'm the big man, I own the club, I should be able to say who we sign, who we don't sign, who we sell. And this is a worry in the future with things like Che and other players having offers. If they all just leave because they don't know the future at the club, who's going to be the manager, and if they can trust him as a manager. I mean, he's not an experienced manager before. And this is a huge issue. Also, there's been a lot of people online demanding refunds for their season tickets. This is a bad thing, and it's showing that Monk had brought in all these fans, had brought in other people who brought season tickets, and have brought season tickets for next year, has brought shirts for next year, different things like this. And if they demand the refunds and they get their refunds, we'll be losing a lot of fans, and this will be a bad thing for the club all round, losing money, fans, and just a whole round bad thing. Here is another tweet that's quite interesting from Everything Birmingham City Football Club. They said, notice how Pep Clotet has been appointed as a head coach. Well, obviously, he's not head coach officially, but he is the takeover head coach kind of thing. And this normally implies they have less control over the transfers. This therefore states that if he gets less control over the transfers, that normally you can work out that means that Wren would have the control over the transfers. And here's another one from Blues Breakdown. Pep Clotet appointed a caretaker head coach seeking to enhance the recruiting scouting strategy. It shows that it's going to be a different kind of method of signing players. It's clearly a difference of opinion on like transfer targets and different things like that. So a director of football would possibly work above the new head coach, and therefore will be the way of signing other people. As you can also see, the confusing thing to a lot of people is if Monk was strained and was in a bad position, why did they sanction the Hotter deal if they wanted to play a more attacking version of football? It doesn't really make much sense. If they want to play attacking and play things like that, it's something that they don't want to see overly is what there is here. Hotter is an aggressive, attacking footballer. Yes, he does go down quite a lot. He's not the best passer of the ball in the world, but he's still a player who's quite an attacking player, which is the style of football they would want to play. Plus, if they're bringing in some Spanish people and trying to play the Spanish style of football, surely someone like Hotter would have been a good player to have under that kind of take. If they were planning this ahead of time, they would have probably kept Hotter and done something like that. Also, they're saying that they would embrace the academy and even more. Maybe Monk didn't want to play the kids. This is possible. Or maybe we are in financial trouble, and that is why they are saying they want to play the youngsters. Therefore, that we have no money to spend on big players, new signings, and this is why Monk's had a bit of a paddy or something and just not been very happy with this transfer. This is a big issue for the club. If we don't have any money to spend and we're possibly getting rid of Che Adams, we need a reason to keep Che. Now, sacking your manager is definitely not a reason to keep a player like Che. Che will not stay happy if he's become a better player under Monk and James Beattie. He has respect for both of those people, and he'll want that kind of a thing to be playing in the future. Now, this style of football may suit Che Adams. A kind of passing, flowing football, nice shots, nice finesses, and kind of fitness kind of style of football. But is he going to stay at a club that doesn't know who their manager is, has a director of football, has an owner that's getting rid of players? Because I don't think he will, and I don't blame him for not wanting to stay at a club that is just in tatters at the current moment and definitely not looking great at all. We can talk about other managers that are on this list, but a lot of them are outsiders. Obviously, third favourite, and we have an outsider that we haven't really spoken about in this video, is Nigel Adkins. Nigel Adkins is obviously a manager who is experienced, but not really experienced enough. But to say that, Pep Clotet and Javier Calm are also not the two of the most experienced people. But you can see the two both at the top of both of them are Javier Calm and Pep Clotet. What I've summed up from this is probably that Javier Calm has been flown into the country or something along those lines, and they are offering him that under-23s manager, as said by We Are Birmingham. One of the strange things coming from this is that Quartet is been the assistant manager to Monk for a while. It seems a bit bizarre that he is coming in over the top of Monk and kind of a little bit slimy behind his back kind of thing. But there is a few different things the fans are saying. Is he possibly the yes man the board are looking for? Who'll just say yes to what the board want, yes to having a director of football, yes to having someone else styling the team, yes to doing something else. Is that kind of manager who they're bringing in? Is that the way they want him? The same with Javier. Javier is not an experienced manager. He's not a manager who probably looks brilliant under pressure. He's not a manager who has done anything really. Nothing big. Clotet won't really play such a different style in my eyes to Monk. He's the assistant manager of Monk for years. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, really. Clotet got sacked as head coach at Oxford there, so he's a similar person to Steve Cottrell. He's a decent coach, but not a manager. A lot of people are saying that this fits in with the reason Beale's left as well, as Javier Calm coming in as under-23s manager does kind of add up to they're getting Spanish people in, they're kind of getting a different exotic feeling to the club and trying to be different. as well, this is our parent club, so we're possibly trying to get more of a connection with them and get a few youngsters out from them and stuff like that. But there's not really many of their players I'd want by the look of them. They don't look brilliant. So yeah, as said by the Stay, I don't think that it was the people in this country that have sacked him. I dislike Ren. I don't think what he's done's right. He's obviously the face of the sacking, and he's the person at the front forward of it. But I think I agree with Amadio in the fact that there's possibly someone in another country that's told him he has to do this. And this is definitely a huge negative for the club, and a huge possible bad position to be in. Thanks for watching this update video. I'll be uploading different videos with the odds if we last more than a day, and my thoughts on the new manager in the future, and other signings throughout the summer transfer window. Thanks for watching, guys.